I knew something was wrong the moment I saw the man watching me from behind the Christmas tree display. His face was half hidden in the shadows, and he didn't blink. The mall was loud, full of music and chatter, but I could feel his eyes like cold fingers on the back of my neck. I told myself I was overthinking it, but my chest tightened because I was alone, and it was almost closing time. I kept walking, pushing my cart through the seasonal aisle. Holiday lights, fake snow, red and green everywhere. Normal, safe, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something behind me had shifted. Soft scrape, a shuffle. I didn't want to look back. Then it came again. Footsteps, slow, heavy, beat, too close. I turned fast, but the man was gone. Or at least, he wasn't where I expected. Instead, he stood at the end of the aisle, his silhouette outlined by the glow of the overhead lights. Same hat, same long coat. His head tilted, like he was studying me. I froze, my pulse hammered in my ears. Maybe he was just shopping. Maybe I was being stupid. But he smiled. Not a friendly smile. A thin, tight smile that didn't touch his eyes. I grabbed the last item I needed and hurried to the registers. I stared straight ahead, acting normal, trying to breathe. The cashier looked exhausted. The mall was winding down. Only a few shoppers left. I paid, picked up my bags, and walked toward the exit. The mall's giant Christmas tree stood in the center, glittering with lights. Kids posed for photos. Parents rushed around. Life, noise. I forced myself to relax. It wasn't real danger, just a weird guy. That's what I tried to believe. I pushed through the glass doors into the cold night. The parking lot was quiet. Wind howled across the pavement. My car sat near the far end, under a flickering light. I don't know why I parked so far away. It felt like a mistake. Halfway there, I heard it. The same heavy footsteps behind me. Matching my pace, I walked faster. My keys shook in my hand. I didn't dare turn around. The lot was almost empty, and the shadows stretched long and dark. Every step I took echoed against the concrete soft, then sharper like someone else was adjusting their stride to stay close. I reached my car and yanked the door open. I threw my bags in, jumped inside, and slammed the lock. My breath froze in the air. I finally looked. He wasn't there. The lot was empty, but the footsteps, I could still hear them. Then I realized something terrifying. The sound wasn't coming from outside. It was coming from the back seat. A rustle, a slow inhale. Beat. I turned my head, inch by inch. Nothing. The seat was empty. I blinked, confused. Was I losing it? I started the engine and pulled out, desperate to get home. The radio hummed with static. My hands were shaking. I kept checking. The mirror, empty road, empty back seat. But the sound didn't stop. I didn't understand how, until later. It wasn't footsteps. It was breathing, soft, steady, coming from under the blanket of shopping bags. I didn't stop the car. I didn't pull over. I kept driving with my blood pounding in my ears. When I got home, I ran inside and locked every door. When I finally built the courage to go back to the car with a neighbor, everything was gone. The bags, the blanket. And that man, the police didn't believe me. They said no signs of Bracken, no fingerprints, but they didn't check the glove box, because the next morning, there was a folded piece of paper inside, just 4 words. I found you again. And that's when I realized something. He wasn't watching me in the mall. He was following me long before that beat. And I still don't know how he knew where I live. The first sign something was wrong was the scream. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was short, sharp, and cut off too quickly, like someone had been silenced mid-breath. I stopped in the middle of the toy aisle and listened. Kids laughed around me. Music played overhead. Normal sounds. But something inside me knew that scream was real. I walked deeper into the store. Movement caught my eye. It's a flash of red coat near the end of the aisle. I followed. My heartbeat quickened. The store was crowded, but I felt strangely isolated like. The noise around me was muffled. Every time I turned a corner, I caught a glimpse of the red coat, fast, disappearing, like it wanted me to follow. I should have gone the other way. I know that now. The coat finally stopped near the back of the store, near the storage doors. A woman stood with her back to me, shoulders trembling. I thought she was crying. I reached out. "Are you okay?" She didn't turn. The overhead lights flickered. Beat. Her shoulders stopped shaking when she turned. She wasn't crying. She was smiling. Wide, too wide. Her eyes were blank. I stepped back. She stepped forward. Her movements were stiff, unnatural, like she wasn't controlling them. I smelled something. Not blood, not dirt, pine dot, the same scent as the Christmas wreaths in the front. And then, suddenly, she whispered, "He chose you." Before I could react, a loud crash echoed from the storage room. She twisted her head toward the sound. I used that moment to run. I sprinted through the aisles. My chest burned. I didn't stop until I reached the checkout. People stared at me. I must have looked insane. I told the employee what I saw. He laughed it off. Said holiday stress makes people act weird. But I kept watching the back of the store. The woman in the red coat never came out. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face. That smile. Those empty eyes. At around 2 a.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. One message. A picture. My house. Taken from the street. I stared at it, frozen. Another message arrived. A single sentence. "He knows you ran." I didn't understand what that meant until the second photo arrived. This time, I was in the picture, standing in the toy aisle, looking terrified, and behind me, the woman in the red coat. But here's the part that haunts me. I never saw her behind me. Not once. Which means the person taking those pictures wasn't her. Someone else was there that night. Someone closer than I realized. And I still don't know who they were, how they got my number. All I know is, every Christmas since then, I get another picture, closer, clearer dot. And this year, the message changed it. Didn't say I ran. It said, "You can't hide forever." And now, I don't shop alone, ever. I knew I should have left when the toy store manager locked the doors early. His hands were shaking. Okay, his voice cracked when he said they were closing. The holiday rush was over. The store was quiet. Too quiet. I was alone in the electronics section. When the lights dimmed, then I heard it. A voice calling softly. "Excuse me?" I turned. No one. The aisles were empty. The shelves cast long shadows. I told myself it was the PA system, so I'm messing around. But then the voice came again closer. "Can you help me?" I walked toward the sound, every step louder than normal. My breath felt heavy. The store felt colder. Near the aisle intersection, I saw him. A boy, maybe 10, holding a stuffed bear. He looked lost, scared. "Where are your parents?" I asked. He didn't answer. He just lifted the bear and pointed toward the changing rooms. The lights flickered. The PA system crackled. I didn't want to go, but the boy's eyes pleaded. When I pushed open the changing room door, the smell hit me. Pine, cold air, and something older. A coat lay on the floor. Brown, heavy, a scarf beside it. Footprints small led to one of the stalls. I knocked. "Are you in there?" Silence. I pushed the door open. Empty. When I turned back, the boy was gone. The bear lay on the floor and then beat the stall door slammed shut behind me. I spun around. Someone whispered, inches from my ear, "You shouldn't have followed him." I ran. I didn't look back. The aisles seemed longer. The store layout felt wrong, like it had changed. Every direction led me somewhere I didn't recognize. Then I saw the manager. He stood by the front doors, pale. His hands trembled. "You should leave," he said. "I'm trying," I said. He shook his head. "No, leave the store, but don't leave alone." I didn't understand until the lights went out in the darkness. Something moved, slow, heavy, breathing. I held my phone out for light, but it flickered and died. The darkness shifted, closer, closer. When the lights snapped back on, the manager was gone. Only his keys lay on the floor. I grabbed them and ran to the exit. I burst into the cold night air. I didn't stop running until I reached my car. I never went back, but the boy's stuffed bear was sitting in my passenger seat, dry, clean, new, not the one I saw in the store, and tied around its paw. It's a tiny pine wreath. I threw it away, but every Christmas since, someone leaves that same stuffed bear at my door, always with the wreath, always with the same note. We are still inside, and I don't know what that means. Not yet, but the part that keeps me awake is this. They write, "we," not "I," which means there were more of them that night, and I only saw one.